The Krusty Burger set is now out and I love it. The look of it, all the details, everything. I've seen some people are disappointed that it's a little smaller than the previous Quickie Mart and Simpsons house for about the same price, maybe a little higher. But I actually think for my modular city, this size is perfect, even if the price is a little high. Both the Quickie Mart set and the Simpsons house feel slightly too big for the city, but I do plan on shrinking the Quickie Mart down in a future video to fit a 1.5 baseplate base, which it already almost is. The Krusty Burger set is thankfully already small enough to fit on a single standard baseplate as is. So, my thought when I first saw the images of it was to convert it to a modular style onto a standard 32 by 32 baseplate, leaving enough room for an actual drive-through. Using the top-down photo of the set, I was able to get a better look at how much space this was taking up. I saw it was rectangular, with the front door side being a little longer than the drive-through order sign, the sides that fold open. So, I did a little quick mock-up for scale in Bricklink Studios and decided my best option to make this work was to move the front door to the thinner side in the center where the bench table currently is, then put that in the back where the play area currently is, then the play area where the front door was, and then the drive-through menu on the outside of the same area. So we now have a full 8 studs available for a drive-through lane, more than enough for a Lego car, which are usually 6 or 7. And one lane going straight through the base plate will hit both the menu and the pickup window. I really like this shrub feature on the side where I am now placing the front door, so the plan is to move that to the long back wall in the back. The other thin wall will remain relatively the same. I'm still going to leave the fold-out option for better access. I also want to keep the bottom 3 studs in this medium nougat color on all 4 walls instead of the back wall being all tan as in the original set. That said, I want to still use these 2 5x6 panels with the stickers on them, so I'm going to move them into wherever they fit in the upper part of the wall, since this looks to be at least 5 studs, but I know the roof is going to cause some issues. Luckily, I have a bunch of extra pieces, especially 1x6 bricks in the nougat color from when I redid the townhouse set into the bowling alley, so the only additional parts I'll need are a bunch of tiles for this base and enough nougat bricks to create one log wall around here. Well, hopefully that's all I'll need. Next, I used this inventory list from Brickset to add all the parts into my studio project and match as many pieces from it as I could to the images of the set, reverse engineering it as best I could. I have a newborn baby at home, so I would do this with one hand to pass the time while feeding him. I quickly found out the parts list, while very helpful, was missing a few key pieces, most notably the orange 4x6 panels in the roof and all of the turquoise pieces used in Krusty's hair. Over the course of a day, I was able to rebuild the set to the point that you see right here. I ended up doing away with the folding feature on one corner because the new window placement made it hard to put the hinges on where they would go, since it took up 4 vertical studs on the edge with a smooth top. It also would be going completely off the base plate, not being level. And lastly, if I were to have kept it as is, there would be not enough room to put the bench here, because getting rid of the hinges allowed me to open up this wall, instead of it pushing in a full stud, as we see on the other side. This back side is where I will add all the shrubs. The Krusty Burger sign will go here. It's very secured to the base plate and has the building walls and tiles to hug it in even more. I'm going to use the original green base for the sign to support the extra layer of the building that will remain fixed to the base plate, as seen right here. With my new layout of the dining area, I played around with the available floor tiles to cover as much visible space as possible. I also rotated the table to go over the chairs, opening up even more space. When everything was done, there were only 2 spots that these big panels fit, so I had to switch the final layer of tiling with these corner plates so there would be something holding them together at the top. As speed build YouTube videos from people in the LEGO Ambassador program started to be released in the coming days, I was able to finally piece together almost everything else. And luckily discovered that these corner plates I was borrowing belonged to a section of the car that was completely covered, and I also had lime green replacements already that even better matched the car than the original gray ones. As I finished up my mock-up, I did run into a couple more issues. One was with the ordering screen. In the original build, it hid the back wall, so these kitchen appliances were being used as the back wall itself. Now that the portion of the wall is visible, I had to push them forward one stud so the exterior colors would not get messed up. Luckily, there was already enough room in the build to do this. Another similar issue was that the top of the sign was held in by a 2x2 slope brick to stay attached to the main building. As there is now a panel covering this part in my build, I had to do away with this piece. Instead, I used one of the tan corner bricks to attach it, and then used this double blue curve slope, the closest I had to match Krusty's hair, to attach it to a 1x1 brick on the other side, with just another unused 1x2 nougat piece in the middle for support. Another change was stretching out the shrubs with the given pieces, while also thinning them in depth so that nothing protrudes beyond this one stud, making it able to fully sit against another modular building on a standard baseplate. I have a feeling this is going to look really nice in this section of my city, spacing out the tall buildings to see into everything else better, and allowing the drive-through lane to hit a road on either side. I also found that one of the tables was now too close to the ball pit, so I moved everything around again. The only other issue I see that's going to happen now is that with only one side folding open, it's going to get stuck on this counter here. Therefore, I will replace the bottom plate under it with some tiles so it will attach by fewer studs. I'm doing this quickly in the mock-up with a 2x10 plate, since that's what's already there, but I will replace it with a 2x8 plate in the real build, so it will only be attached by 4 studs, making it easy to pull off and detach when I want to fold this open. With everything now redesigned, I ordered the few extra parts that I needed. It was really only tiles, but I didn't want to pay for shipping, so I added a bunch of other tiles and some frequently used generic pieces, and a couple smaller bricks and plates that matched the Krusty Burger color scheme, just in case I miscounted something, which I probably did, and got the total to just over $35. I then built the base section when the order arrived, and as long as no surprises show up in the actual build process, these will be the only additional pieces used. I will make sure to give you an exact inventory of all the extra pieces at the end of this video, as well as the pieces that were not used. On June 1st, I bought the set and got to building. As you can see in this time lapse, I already made some changes to the hidden plate layer on the base plate. That's because I'm working on some landscaping in a new part of my city and needed those 4 green curb plates. Anyways, next to the duff light, I've set aside all the additional pieces with the color scheme that I already have, and I'll use them as needed and keep count on what I add. On another note, I was watching the show from the beginning as I was doing this, and geez, that first season feels like a completely different show. Most of the build went exactly as planned, until I got to the walls of the one folding section. Turns out, I was a dummy and envisioned the wrong issue. The counterpart wasn't the problem, this wall connection was. Without the other side also opening, the locking connection cannot be made. So, I replaced the claw grip bricks with regular tan bricks, since I knew I'd have some extra of those, and used the claw pieces by the grill. I then put tiles on the last row of the walls. You'll see in a minute how I messed up here again, and built the roof exactly as the instructions said. Here's the final build. And this pile is all the pieces from the set that I didn't use. Aside from those large tan pieces, it's mostly just the small extras that wouldn't have been used to begin with. So here's the drive-through lane side with the sticker here on the panel it's supposed to go on, just moved up in the corner for visibility. There's the front door, now on a sidewalk with 2 windows on either side. The side wall with shrubbery and the El Barto sticker here. The stickers on both sides of this one are still in their intended positions. And the back wall where the grease trap is, and now there's just a plain wall where the drive-through menu originally was. And it should fold right open. What's going on here? I guess I goofed again and attached the top of the fold with a 1x6 plate. So here's a quick fix. Now it opens up, and let's get a better look on the inside. From the top down, we can see the new layout, where I have the ball pit over here, the bench over there, machines on this wall moved a stud inward, and the bathroom door adjusted over 1 stud, but still with enough room for this sticker. Now that everything looks great and functions as intended, let's place it into the city. right next door to the Quickie Mart, between the Daily Bugle and the Oscorp Tower. Homer can now enter the drive-thru from one street and exit it onto the other. And it spaces out these two tall towers very nicely while still being quite visible. Not counting whatever random plates I used on the bottom invisible layer, there were a total of 189 extra pieces used. As you can see, not many of any one single piece except for those 111 dark bluish gray tiles. But a lot of those were just used just for support and could have been any piece. Now I feel like getting dinner and walking to In-N-Out because this project made me hungry for burgers.